So hi guys, everyone, wherever you are, how are you? This is Teacher Raya here. You can introduce yourself on the chat. I would like to know who you are and where you are. So I am in London and I'm helping you guys to do your revision or catch up on whatever you missed during the lockdown on your Form 4 or Form 3 sessions. So hopefully I'll try and help you get ready for your Form 4 exams. Or if you are in the UK, this is relevant if you are in Year 8 or Year 9 and all the way to Year 11. So as you can see on the screen, I have a starter. Now I am making an assumption that you know how to factorize. In this session, we're going to solve quadratic equations by factorizing. So if you are not sure about how to factorize quadratics, please wait for a minute because I'm going to go over through all questions. So whoever is ready to start, go ahead. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to go over the first question just in case some of you are not sure or maybe you have not done it before. If you know what you're doing, please go ahead and do the rest of the questions. The last one is an extension, of course, so I hope you can do that one as well. Okay, so this first question here, we are asked to factorize. So factorize, it means put expression into brackets. That's what it means. So we're going to put this quadratic expression into brackets. We need double brackets because it is a quadratic expression. Okay, so let's start. How do we do this? Well, you look at the constant. The constant is 24. When I say constant, it's the number, it's a term that doesn't have a variable. What is a variable? X is a variable. So 24 doesn't have a variable. We call it a constant. So you take that 24 and then you also look at the number in the middle, the one with the x only, not the x squared at the moment. And then you ask yourself, what factors of 24 will add or subtract to give you 10? So two numbers that make 24, but when you add or subtract will give you 10. So let's have a look. If I do 2 and 12, yes, I can get a 10, but everything is plus here. So how I'm going to go over this? If I put plus here and plus, if I add them, I get 14. But if I put a minus, I don't have a minus here, so that's not going to work. So this pair will not work. What is the other way of making 24? Well, I know I can do 8 times 2. So let's do 8 times 2. Sorry guys, 8 times 3. Will 8 times 3 work? Well, this will not add up to 10. So this will not work. And then I've got 6 times 4. Yes, 6 times 4 does work. And if I add, they're both positive. So 6 plus 4 is 10. I can have these two numbers. So what I'm going to do now is open my bracket. So I need two brackets. And then I need x here and I need x here. And everywhere there is a plus. So don't worry about it. Just put plus. And in one bracket you have a 6. In the other bracket you have a 4. So that is done. It's factorized now. Now I'm just going to go ahead to the next question because I am making an assumption you are a bit ahead of this. So Ali, nice to see you again. And Mohammed, hi, hello Mohammed, nice to see you again. So there is a couple of you there. Some of them are having a good time because it is Saturday. But We love math, so I'm happy you're there, guys. Right, so for the next one, Ali, because you are doing Form 2, maybe you may have not done too much of this, but I'm pretty sure you have done it. So now we got 60, okay? So let's do 60. 60, what numbers will make 60? Well, we can do 6 times 10. Now, does 6 and 10 give you 7? Because we need to get a 7. No, that doesn't work. What else will make 60? Well, I'm going to rush this up. Well, we can do 12 times 5. 12 times 5 is 60. Now, I need to get a negative 7. So how am I going to arrange this? If I do plus 12 and negative 5, that's going to give me a positive 7. So that doesn't work. It means I need to put this bigger one, it needs to be the negative 1, and the smaller one needs to be the positive 1 in order to get the negative 7. So it's negative 12 plus 5. So again, I'm going to open my brackets here. Then I have my x there and have my x there. And then I just put in. So it doesn't really matter which number you put first in this case. So plus 5. So that is done. Hopefully you've got these right, guys. The next one, I'm not sure if you are familiar with this, because if you notice, we got x squared here and 64. What sort of number is 64? It's actually a cubic number. It means 4 times 4 times 4, but it's also a square number, 8 times 8. So if I write this in this form, x squared minus 8 squared, do you remember anything about this? Well, if you haven't seen this before, or if you have forgotten, this is called the difference of two squares. So for example, if I have x squared minus y squared, then to factorize this, I need to know the rule. So the rule is, I can explain it later on maybe, is you have x plus y in one bracket and then x minus y in the other bracket. If you try to factorize this, if you try to expand it, you will get this. So in order to factorize, you really need to remember the rule, because you can't do this bit here. So if I had x squared minus 2 squared, I can apply this rule. I can say I'm going to write x plus 2 and x minus 2. So it's important to recognize the square number here. So I can now just go and open my two brackets like that, and then have x plus 8 and then x minus 8 in this bracket. Okay, now we have this, we call this slightly harder quadratic. Why is it harder? Because it has a 2 here. Now, how do we go about doing this? Well, we can split the middle term. And I'm going to show you, because sometimes you have difficult numbers and you don't know how to, which numbers to use. And it could be a long-winded process. So look at what I'm doing now. And make sure you write this process down, because there is a tendency to forget the process. What you do, you take this number with x squared, that's a 2, and then you take this number here, the constant, right? So you take these two numbers, you multiply them. So I'm going to write it here. 2 times 15 is equal to 30. And now we're going to go back to that process. Now, which numbers that make 30, if you multiply them, but when you add, will give you 13. Well, should we try it? Well, there is 3 times 10. There is 6 times 5. 6 times 5 won't give you 13. So the 3 times 10, will that give you 13? Yes, that will give you 13. 15 and 2, sorry, not 13, 30. 15 times 2 will give you 30, but it means you need to do 15 take away 2. It means you're going to have a negative, but we don't have negative. So that pair will not work. Okay, so we're going to split the middle term. We're going to write this like this: 2x squared plus, everything is positive here, so we can write plus 3 and plus 10. So we could do plus 10x and then plus 3x and then plus 15. So all we have done is split this middle term. Plus 13x is now plus 10 plus 3x. Okay, we're now going to pretend we have a border here. Okay, and we're going to factorize this side and then factorize that side. So what is common on this side? 2 is common. X is also common. So we take 2x outside and then open a bracket. In order to get 2x squared, I need another x. So that is what I'm going to put here. There is x out here already and a 2. So I need plus there and a 5. I don't need another x because there's x here. So that is done. And then I need to remember to bring the sign down. So what is common here? Plus 3x plus 15. Common is plus 3. So I'm going to do plus 3. And then inside the bracket, x plus, I need to get 15. So 3 times 5. Now what you can see that you have a common bracket here and here. So we're going to take that bracket, just one of them, okay? So it's x plus 5. And the other bracket is going to be made of these numbers which are outside. So remember the sign as well. So that is going to be 2x plus this number here, 3. So that is completed, guys. Hopefully you've got them all right. Wanted to teach you today. All right, we're going to solve quadratics, of course. Now you can solve quadratic in several ways. You can factorize. That is what we're going to do. Not all quadratics can be factorized, and that's why we have these other methods. Okay, so we can solve graphically. Probably this will be one of the last one we're going to do. And then we're going to do completing the square. So I'm going to show you next week completing the square. We have to learn how to complete the square and then solve. It will be all done next week. All right. Now that is definitely not in Form 2, guys. But you're welcome to learn it early. It's not going to hurt you. It's just going to improve your mathematics knowledge. And the other method is the quadratic formula. So sometimes we have to use a formula, but the formula actually is related to completing the square. Now, if you really want to know how to get to the quadratic formula, let me know and I can do a session on that. Actually, there is a session, but I can do a live session with you guys. All right, so today we're going to do solving the quadratic. In order to solve the quadratic equations, by factorizing, one side must be 0. So if there is no 0 on one side, you have to rearrange and make sure there is a 0. Okay, so that is how it goes. And sometime when you solve quadratic, you have two distinct values, two values. Sometimes the value is the same. So you will get x equals minus 2 and x is equal to -2. And sometimes you can't solve it. And I'm going to show you on a graph, okay? We solve quadratic when y is equal to 0. Okay, so if you look at my graph here, this is where we solve the graph. You can see we read the points on the x-axis. Okay, so where it crosses the x-axis, y is equal to 0. That is where we read the values of the x. Okay, so for this one, you'll have x equal to negative something. Here, you'll have x equals to positive something. So we say we have two distinct solutions. Okay, and then here you can see the graph. If you were to draw the graph of the quadratic equation, it bounced back straight away. So that means we have two equal values, but then we say just one value, okay? But in reality, there are two equal values. And then this other way, it could look like that. Now this graph is not touching the x-axis, which means there are no solutions at this level anyway. The graph has to touch the x-axis in order to solve the quadratic. So sometimes your graphs may look like this, guys, okay? So upside down. That is okay as long as it touches the x-axis, okay? Right. Let's do the first example then. We are going to solve quadratic equations. Now I'm going to give you 30 seconds to look at this, okay? Maybe you want to try it first. Wow, Ali, that is so impressive. I want you to show me. I think you're going to help me to do these math sessions, aren't you? Yeah. You listen, in my on my channel there is a video that shows you how to record yourself on PowerPoint if you have PowerPoint, and you can start to record your lessons. How about that? You could teach like like Form 1 and some other Form 2 online, and you can help so many people. You only need to do like one a week or so. All right. Okay, so we need to what I'm going to do actually, Ali, if you get yourself a phone or something, I'm going to give you a question for you to do in a second. And then, because it seems like you know what to do, if you could try harder questions. But get yourself a phone and I'll come back to that. Okay, right. We need to factorize before we can solve. One side is already 0. So we don't need to rearrange or anything. We just need to factorize. Okay, we need to look at the constant, right? And we need to look at the coefficient of x. What does coefficient mean? Coefficient, it means it's the number that is next to the variable. The variable, remember, is x. The coefficient of x is 10. What is the coefficient of x squared, guys? It's not 0, okay? It's 1. There is 1 there. But we don't write it. Remember, if you are watching me yesterday, we don't write 1 something, but we may have to use it sometime. All right, so we take the 24 and then we look at the coefficient of x. So 24, how many ways can we make 24 to get a 10? Well, we can do 2 and 12. But if I add them, if they are both plus, because everything here is plus, that will give me 14. That's not good. Again, what can I do here? So 24, I can use the 6 and 4 again. I think it's the one from before, guys, but we're now going to solve, right? So we're going to have 2 brackets here, and then our numbers are both plus here. So we're going to have x plus 6 and then x plus 4 equals to 0. Now at this point, we're going to take one of the brackets and solve and make it equal to 0. So we're going to say x plus 6 is equal to 0. And then we're going to rearrange minus 6 minus 6. So x is equal to plus 6 minus 6 is 0. X is equal to negative 6. Then we take this second bracket and make that equal to 0. So x plus 4 is equal to 0. Take away 4, both sides. So x is going to be equal to negative 4. And these are your solutions. Okay? Next question. Well, I'm going to give you guys a minute to try to solve this one. Off you go. Well, Ali, I have a video on my my channel that shows you how to record on PowerPoint. It's so easy. Okay. That's a good idea, yeah. We can arrange that. I'll tell you what, we can do that during the Easter time, this Easter holiday, because I do work during a day and I also tutor. So I just finished my tutoring an hour ago, and now I'm helping you guys. That's a very good idea, I think. All right, guys, have you solved it? Mohammed, what have you got? What have you got here, guys? All of you are quiet. M Gaming, and what's your name? What's your first name? And what is your answer? And then I've got, please feel free to know who you are and where you are from. Right. All right, so we look at 25, guys, and negative 10, okay? It's very important to pay attention to that negative. So two numbers that makes 25, well, there's only two ways of making 25. 1 times 25. Will this give us negative 10? No chance, is there? Now, remember we have a negative here, so one of the number has to be at least one of the number has to be a negative. So we can try 5 times 5. Now we need to get a negative 10. So this means this and this needs to be negative numbers. So we open our brackets, okay? Make that equal to 0, and then x here and x here. So we got negative 5 and negative 5, and then we just solve. So x is equal to 5 on that one, and on that the same one you got x equals to 5. So now you've seen the graph. If you were to draw this graph, do you think where will it bounce? It will bounce where x equals to 5. It's not going to go on the negative y values. It's going to go to the x-axis where x equals 5 and bounce back. Now I will show you how to sketch quadratic equations if we have time next week or the week after. All right, so here is some work for you guys. I think. Right, this one can look a little bit tricky sometimes, so you need to factorize, okay? You need to put x outside here. We don't have a constant, and just open a bracket, and x minus 16 equals to 0, okay? Thank you, Mohammed and Ali. So again, you can pretend like there's another bracket here. So x is equal to 0, that's one value. And from the next bracket, you have x minus 16 equals to 0. Therefore, x is equal to 16. So your two values are x equals to 0 and x is equal to 16. All right, let's do the next one, guys. This one. How do we do this one? Now you don't need to give answers in decimal, okay? You can just leave your answer as it looks. You don't need to use a calculator or anything. So that's a hint. Who has done it? All right, so I'm gonna just go through this and then I have some work for you to do. Right, we can't really factorize with this one, and sometimes the easiest one may be seen as the hardest one. So in this case, I know I said one side needs to be equal to 0, but you will not be able to solve it if you just leave it like this. So you're going to remove the negative 21 by adding 21 on both sides. And guys, I hope today that the sound is much better, because I didn't realize my microphone was not connected yesterday and the sound was from my laptop very bad. So sorry about that. So you got 4x squared equals to 21. And then what do we have? We need to get rid of this 4, okay? So we divide by 4 both sides. Now this will cancel and that will cancel. Then you have x squared equals to 21 over 4, okay? Now to get x, you need to remove the x square. How do we remove it? What's the opposite of square? Is square rooting. So if you square root x squared, you will get x. And that on this side, it would be square root of 21 over 4. But remember, this is a quadratic. You need two answers. So whenever you have a square root, the answer is always plus or minus. Okay, so we have to put plus or minus here. Now the square root of 21, we can leave that one as a radical or third, but we know square root of 4 is 2, so we could write this as x equals to positive square root of 21 over 2, and also x is equal to, I'll write it down here, square root of 21 negative this time over 2. So these are your two values. Okay, well done guys. So hopefully you've got that. Now time for you to sweat now. All right, off you go. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this, and I'm not going to do all of them. I'm going to do maybe the last one, number 6. But I will give you the answers. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to give the answer for the first one. You factorized all right, Ali and Mohammed and Mansi, and then someone, M Gaming. I'm not sure who that is. I recognize it, but I can't remember. So we got x equals to negative 2 for the first one, and x equals to negative 1. Okay, so if you haven't got that, you need to check that. Okay, that is the answer for that one. Anyone else for number 2? Okay, well done, Mohammed. Have you done number 2? X minus 7x plus 2. X minus 7x plus 2. Oh, okay, you've done number 3. Where's number 2? You went down. Okay, never mind. That's fine. Okay, so for number 2, you're going to have x equals -4 and x equals -3. Okay, well done. That's much better. Guys, if you get stuck, you need to let me know, because I'm assuming you are good with this. So for number 3, we got the factorization there from Ali. X equals -2 and x equals 7. Okay, you don't understand question 1. Okay, I'm gonna do question 1 here, okay? So you guys carry on if you're doing. So question 1, we've got x squared plus 3x plus 2 equals to 0. Now we need to make a 2. There's only one way to make a 2, right? It's just 1 times 2, and we need a 3. So both needs to be positive, because everything here is positive, and that's the only way you can get plus 3, by adding these two. So you have in brackets equal to 0, x plus 2 and x plus 1. And then you take one of the bracket and make it equal to 0, x plus 2 equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to -2. And then you take the second bracket, x plus 1 equal to 0. So therefore, x is equal to -1. And these are your solutions for question 1. Okay? Yeah, I'm happy with question 5, Ali. Okay, so let's clear this up. Okay, for question 4, we have x equals -10. Have you done it? Okay. I'm not sure if you have done question 4, guys. So here, just in case you haven't done it, is x squared minus 81 is... okay, Mamsi, I'll do number 6. That is x squared minus 9 squared. Okay, so well done, Ali, you remembered it. That means you're going to have... okay, remember, x is not just equals 9, okay? We need 2 values. Well, how would you factorize it? So one answer is missing, Ali. You need 2 brackets, remember? Okay, I've jumped to number 5, guys. So this is equal to 0. This is the difference of 2 squares, okay? Why do we call the difference of 2 squares? Well, there is square number, take away a square number. That's why we call it the difference of 2 squares, because we subtract them. So we have in one bracket x plus 9, in the other bracket x minus 9. So you're not going to get just one answer, are you? You're going to have one of the brackets saying x plus 9 equal to 0. So therefore x is equal to -9. That's one of the answers. In the second one, you have x minus 9 equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to 9. So there are not the same answer. So be careful. All right, yes, so for 4, x equals -10, and then x equals to 4. Now I'm about to do question 6. Now, Mansi, I will do number 6. Where are you located? Are you in the UK? Are you in Tanzania? Or are you in another country? A different country, okay? So I'm going to take away this solution so I can do number 6, okay? So right, so for number 6, what we need to do is first rearrange and have one side equal to 0, which means we're going to take away 2x because it's positive on this side, and we're also going to take away 35, okay? So we're gonna put this 2x next to the x. Oh, nice to know, Mansi. Which part of Tanzania? I am from, my family is from Zanzibar, okay? So we're going to do minus 2x and then minus 35 on both sides, okay? Minus 2x minus 35. So I can speak Swahili, I believe. I'm not sure who else is there. But if you want to ask a question in Swahili, I'm happy to answer it as much as I can, okay? Naweza kuzungumza Kiswahili sawa sawa. Maybe nazungumza Kiswahili kushinda wewe. Au vipi? Okay, guys. So some of them, oh, you're in Zanzibar, Mansi. All right. Which part? And which school do you go to? All right. So we're going to rearrange this. So now we have x squared minus x and minus 2x. That will give you minus 3x. So we'll have minus 3x here. Minus 73 and minus 35, this will be minus 108, equal to, if you subtract these, you will get 0 on this side, okay? Right, okay, so we have, okay, all right, so we're going to find two numbers. I'm going to do it on this side. 108. Oops, 108, guys. Which numbers that make 108, but the difference is 3? Anyone? Anyone? I need you to think. 108. Number that makes 108 when you multiply, but when you add or subtract, will give you a 3. Yes, Mohammed, 12 and 9. Thank you. 12 and 9. Now, we do have a negative 3 here. So, which number will be the negative one? Well, in order to have a negative number, the bigger number needs to be the negative. So we can have negative 12 and plus 9. So that is all you have to do. All right, so 2 brackets. And you have x here and x there. Don't forget the equal, okay, because we're doing equations. And then you have minus 12 here. And you have a plus 9 here. So if you take that bracket, you get x equals 12. And if you take this bracket, you get x equals to negative 9. Okay, guys. Hope you understand this. Mansi, well done as well. 12 and 9. Fantastic. Right. I'm moving on to something slightly different. Okay. We tend to call these harder quadratics. Now, if you see this form, this is the general quadratic form, okay? Ax squared plus bx plus c. So the ones we've been doing so far, we didn't have a number there. Didn't we have a number? Think about it. because earlier on I said it's not 0. So what was A in the ones we have been doing so far? Well, A was equal to 1. So there was A there, but it's 1. So we didn't show it as much because when we multiply, it doesn't make any difference when we are going to use my next method. All right, so these are the ones we're going to do where A is greater than 1, okay? We're going to solve quadratic equations where A is greater than 1. Right? I think we had this earlier on. Does anyone remember it? What would be the solution? Like before, we're going to take that number and this number and multiply them out. So 2 times 15, this gives you 30. And then you're looking at 30. Which numbers will give you 13? We've done this. So that's going to be 3 and 10. Okay? Everything is positive here. So we're now going to rearrange this. Okay? We're going to write 2x squared plus 10x plus 3x plus 15 equal to 0. We're going to have our border right there, okay? And then we're going to factorize that side and then factorize this side. So like I say, we've done this, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. So we have 2x here and then x inside here, plus to get 10x I need a 5. Don't forget to bring the plus down here. So it's plus and then it is 3 and then x plus 5 and then that's equal to 0. So to make our two brackets, we need to take one of these brackets, so x plus 5. It doesn't matter which one you take first. You can take the numbers outside first. So that's 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So now if we take the first bracket and make that equal to 0, so we have x plus 5 equal to 0. So therefore x is equal to negative 5. That is one of our solution. Then we have the second bracket, which says 2x plus 3 equal to 0. We take away 3 on both sides, then we have 2x equals to negative 3. We divide by 2, so therefore x is equal to negative 3 over 2. So you can leave your two solutions like that. Okay? Right, so what number is next? What is the coefficient of x, guys? Well, it's not 0, I keep saying it. There is a negative 1 here, okay? There is a negative 1. So you need to remember that. So now we're going to start our method. So we do 10 times 3, okay? 10 times 3, so that is 30 again. And then you look at 30, which numbers will multiply to make 30, but when you add or subtract will give you a negative 1, okay? Well, there is 3 times 10, that's not gonna work. And then 15 times 2, that will not work. But there is someone saying anything? It's 1, okay? You're absolutely right. There is a negative 1 there. So the number that we make 30 is 6 and 5. That can give you a negative 1. So because it is a negative 1, the bigger one needs to be the negative and the smaller one needs to be the plus. Okay, so we're going to now rewrite this. Okay, so 10x squared minus 6x plus 5x minus 3 equal to 0. Now don't panic. If you write plus 5x first, you will get the same answer. And sometimes there are ways of writing this. So you may find that you get more than different ways of getting the answers. Okay, so now we have our border right there. Common here is 10x. Well done. Minus 6 plus 5, guys. Mansi, remember the negative 6 there. Okay, but the numbers are right. Well done. So we're going to have a 2x outside, and then we need a 10. We have a 2 outside, so we need to put a 5. And then we need x squared, but we have x here, so this needs to be 5x. And then minus, we've got a 2 outside, so I need a 3 to make it 6. But I don't need another x because I already have one outside. Remember to bring in the plus, okay? So plus, what's common here? 5x and negative 3. What should I write? I do need a number outside my bracket, guys. Anyone? Well, I'm gonna put a 1 outside. Okay, 1 is a common one. Okay, so and then we have 5x and then minus 3. Okay, equal to 0. Now we have the same brackets. I'm going to take the numbers outside this time. Well done. So 2x plus 1. And then in the other bracket, I just choose one of those brackets because that is a common bracket. So 5x minus 3 equal to 0. Now I take one bracket and make it equal to 0. So 2x plus 1 equal to 0. That means 2x is equal to negative 1. I divide by 2 and I get x is equal to negative half. That is your first solution. And then I take 5x minus 3 equal to 0. And then 5x, I add 3 both sides is equal to 3. I divide by 5, therefore x is equal to 3 over 5. Okay? That is a solution to this question. Right, here we go, guys. Now you can choose which one you want to do, and you can tell me which ones you want me to help you with. Okay, maybe we can choose 2 questions for me to do. Okay, but right, guys, I'm going to give you the answers and you can try that later. Okay, so for the first one, just note down the answer and you can do that later. So x is equal to 1 and then x is equal to negative 3 for that one. And then for this one, x is equal to negative half and then x is equal to 4 over 3. And for this one, number 3, x is equal to negative quarter and then x is equal to quarter. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do number 4 2 different ways. The first one is the quickest way. Yeah, that is the right answer, but let me show Mansi how to do it. Okay, so we can do the quickest way. We have 25t squared minus 49 equal to 0. So we can do 25t squared equals to 49. Divide by 25 both sides, then we have t squared is equal to 49 over 25. And then t is going to be square root. But remember, when you square rooting, because it's quadratic, it means you need 2 answers. You have to put plus or minus square root of 49 over 25. And we know square root of 49 is 7. and the square root of 25 is 5. So that's going to be plus or minus 7 over 5. That means t is going to be equal to 7 over 5, or t is going to be equal to negative 7 over 5. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it, and I will show you, because sometimes you have to apply this to get the right answer when you're doing some when you apply the difference of two squares. So we could write 25t squared as 5t squared minus 7 squared equal to 0. Now we can see that is the difference of two squares. Okay, so we do one bracket, close it, second bracket, close it, equal to 0 on this side. So that, imagine that's your x squared and imagine that's your y squared. Okay, so that's going to be 5t, one bracket you have plus 7, and then in this bracket you have 5t minus 7. So your solutions, if you take the first bracket, 5t plus 7 equal to 0. So 5t is equal to negative 7, and then t is equal to negative 7 over 5. You take that second bracket and say 5t minus 7 equal to 0. Therefore 5t is equal to 7, and then t is equal to 7 over 5. So both ways they give you the same answer. But sometimes when you apply quadratics, you may have to use the difference of two squares, because maybe the answers are in terms of some variable. Okay, so that is the answer to number 4. Has anyone got the answer to number 5? All right, I'm going to do question 5 for you guys, just in case you haven't done it. So one side is not equal to 0, is it? We got 40, so we have to rearrange. You can't just say minus 40, both sides equal to 0 and just carry on. What you need to do is expand the brackets first. So multiply out the bracket and then collect like terms. And of course, one side there needs to be 0. Okay, so let's do that one together. So x times x, that's x squared. And then x times negative 2 is negative 2x. And then positive 1 times x, so that's going to be plus x. And then positive 1 times negative 2, that's negative 2, equals to 40. Okay, we're going to collect these like terms. X squared minus 2x plus x, that's going to be minus x. And then minus 2, we need to subtract 40. Remember, we need to have a 0. So that needs to be a negative 40 on this side. Negative 2 and negative 40 is negative 42. And now we got equal to 0. Once you've done this, now you can see we do have a 1 there, negative 1. Okay, so two number that makes 42, guys, and we need a 1. That is a simple one with 7 and 6. But because it's a negative 1 here, this one needs to be negative and this one a positive. Okay, so two brackets here equal to 0. Put your x there, put your x there, negative 7 and plus 6. So your answer for the first bracket is going to be x equal to 7. And for the second bracket, it's going to be x equal to negative 6. Okay. All right, guys, I'm now going to show you your homework, okay? And in this homework, there is a question which is more like a form 4 question, but you can do it if you are good with this. You just need to apply. So here we go. So remember, if you have brackets, guys, I let you do all the hard ones, isn't it? So that's a good thing. It means you're going to test yourself. Remember to expand brackets and make one side equal to 0 when you do these homework. And this is exam question from previous years, not Nectar. Is from GCSE, IGCSE paper somewhere. I got it. So you need to go and think about these questions, and next week I'm going to give you the answers, okay? So make sure you take a picture of this. All right, so that's your homework. And next week, what we're going to do is completing the square, and we're going to learn how to put in a completing square form, and then we're going to find the turning points. Okay, so Mohammed, you do need to be here because now you are heading to year 10, so it's good to learn now. We're going to find turning points, and I'm going to show you how to sketch quadratic graphs. Now, when I say sketch, it doesn't mean draw. There's a difference between draw and sketch. So using the completing square, we're going to find turning points, we're going to sketch the quadratic graphs, and then we're going to solve the quadratic graphs. Okay, guys? So thank you for watching all this time, and thank you for your patience. It's your Saturday and you spent doing maths. That means you really love maths, and I really appreciate it. I'm here to help you. All right, so I'll see you next Saturday, guys. And for some of you who are with me on Friday as well, I'll see you on Friday. Kwairini. Have a good weekend. Bye, guys.